she's clearly doing this because she's trying to prove to the mainstream media, because now they're starting to talk about this whole birth being fictitious coming from Meghan. So she's trying to put out there to the haters, look, it is me giving birth. See, I'm in the hospital dancing like a skank.
She's got form for strapping on baby bumps.
There's something very wrong with that shape, in my view.
I think they split within 12 months.
Developing today. It was the slut job that ricocheted around the world for all the wrong reasons. Meghan Markle believed that she would finally put to rest the ongoing and, I believe, very accurate speculation that she had been wearing a moon bump. This is a subject which has, of course, been covered here on Outspoken for many, many months, because when you think about it, it matters, given that if these children were not born by Meghan Markle's body, then they are unable to sit in the line of succession, the royal line of succession. We're talking about Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, of course. Then this video, and let's take a look at some of it, because this video has horrified so many, because Meghan quite clearly here is in some type of moon bump. This is not a natural body position. That's before you even get to the fact that this type of behavior is not dignified, is certainly not royal, shames the monarchy, makes a complete mockery of King Charles, and I think also means the public have had enough. And you can imagine, since we first revealed this video on last night's show, the reaction around the world has been extraordinary. Piers Morgan posted on X, we're about 2 months away from the sex tape. And what I have found particularly fascinating over the last 24 hours is that members of the mainstream media have started to get in contact with me, have started to say, oh, Dan, you might be onto something here. Is there any reason why she would lie about this bump? Yeah, there really is. Catch up. We're going to get analysis with our superstar panel, Alexandra Marshall and Norman Fenton, in just one moment. But first, I want to show you some of the fascinating mainstream media reactions as the penny drops, that actually this so-called internet conspiracy theory may well finally bring down Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. First, Kevin O'Sullivan and Isabel Oakeshott.
Meghan, there. Is that a real baby bump, or has she strapped it on? Because
looks really weird.
She's got form for strapping on baby bumps. So what do you think as you see it? I think
there's something very wrong with that shape, in my view. I don't know. Look, I'm mesmerised, but I'm kind of do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, I'm glad the Queen is no longer with us, because oh my Lord, how she would be shuddering at those images. It's so undignified. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, but I'm finding that quite uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable. I don't think, because she's done this before for photos, I don't think that is a real baby bump. I think
way too big. It's way too big.
And sort of too low.
Next, our very own P. Diner.
She comes out with this video of her in the hospital room, apparently getting ready to give labor to this child, Lily. Now, first of all, there's a few things I have to say about this video, okay? Looking at this video, the first thing that comes to mind is that stomach is too big. It's too big. I showed it to my husband, and he was like, it looks like she's giving birth to triplets. And I'm like, yeah. Whose belly is that big? Okay, now she's clearly doing this because she's trying to prove to the mainstream media, because now they're starting to talk about this whole birth being fictitious coming from Meghan. So she's trying to put out there to the haters, look, it is me giving birth. See, I'm in the hospital dancing like a skank. I couldn't believe I saw her dancing like this. I'm sorry to call her that word, but she is. You're a duchess. Who does this? Who behaves like this? Who is supposedly pregnant? Sit your Duchess of sausage butt down. What are you doing? Dancing all provocatively, supposedly pregnant in that big fake looking bump. I'm sorry, it doesn't even make sense.
Then Jeremy Kyle really went for it with Kinsey Schofield.
Fresh from repeatedly telling us that they were escaping the United Kingdom because they wanted privacy. They hated the press. They hated everything to be involved in the intrusion in their lives. And then they had their little children and the feral children, and they left them with the chickens. And all she does now with her jams that are crap is post pictures of her children left, right and centre, which has me always thinking, well, hold on a second, you duplicitous woman. How does that make any sense? But we've now reached a point where I possibly am going to be sick live on the television. Meghan Markle has posted a cringy video of her and Prince Harry dancing in a hospital room. This is we're playing it. She's waiting for she's twerking with the baby to try and make the baby come. This is to induce Elizabeth's birth. She's dancing in front of the camera. Oh, God, it looks like a lap dancing club with pregnant women. He's also dancing in front of the camera. She's got a black dress on. She's literally holding her bump and twerking, and she's put this on social media. The woman is... that's getting worse now. She looks like she's performing.
Well, and look, JK, the lyrics are prego, but I'm still doing moves like Beyonce. Yeah, I said I'm pregnant. Get the child support and pay my rent. Your opinion is irrelevant because I'm a baby mama. I can do what I want.
And Jeremy Kyle went on to predict that he thinks this video will end up seeing Meghan Markle and Prince Harry divorce within the next year.
Gosh, where does this? I mean, I think that they're going to do another reality show. I think that they are going to have to break down and continue to spill, because I don't think that any of their commercial ventures are working. But this is not the way. This is not the path. I think she's being completely destructive to her own brand.
I think they split within 12 months. They are. I say he comes back to the United Kingdom, as I've said on numerous occasions, with his ginger tail between his legs. I think she... I won't ever be able to come back to the United Kingdom.
A huge amount of reaction online too. Michelle Chismay wrote, so I am in healthcare and I noticed something. She's not a labour and delivery room, and I can tell from the back. According to Taz, added, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can all agree that this ain't no Duchess. Dear King Charles, I think it's time to seriously consider getting your council to have a chat with Parliament with regard to Harry's dukedom. Also, it's clearly time to remove them from the royal family website. Nancy Sidley posted, I've got to give her credit. She's found a new level of cringe that the Kardashians have not even achieved. She has no idea that after the shock and awe wears off this video, her stock will continue to plummet. This kind of breaking the internet marketing never works. Just ask Kim Kardashian. I suspect they know the titles are close to getting stripped, so they need to create a spectacle so the royal family will look petty and not modern if the titles are removed. These two are broke, allegedly. And the Office of Glyn again said alongside this photo, odd place for the cannula as well, and keeping a watch on. Okay, Norman Fenton, Alexandra Marshall, that's the setup. But guys, can we just watch this video in full? Can you put up with that? Because I think you've got to see the full horror of it before you comment. Is that okay? But first, some struggle to fall asleep, others to stay asleep, and many wake in the night with racing thoughts. I have to be honest, that's often me, and don't you end up tossing and turning for hours? But I then found out that saffron is more than just a spice. It's shown in multiple human studies to help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and this is the best thing, wake up refreshed without that next day grogginess. It works by boosting natural melatonin without dependency or morning fog, calming the nervous system, helping your mind unwind. improving mood and stress resilience so you wake up feeling better. Now, most saffron supplements don't work because they contain cheap, unstandardized saffron cut with fillers or low-potency extracts, delivering weak, inconsistent doses. This led me to Evening Being by Verso, a melatonin-free drink mix perfected over 3 years with a clinically studied, trademarked saffron, standardized and concentrated to only the active ingredients. Those ingredients proven to enhance sleep, mood, and relaxation. It's the most researched bioavailable saffron extract available. It's paired with other clinically studied patented ingredients to promote relaxation and deep, uninterrupted sleep. After taking Evening Bean, I fall asleep faster and stay asleep all night. So click the link in the show description or head on over to evening.ver.so/outspoken. Use the coupon code outspoken at checkout to save 15% on your first order. Try Evening Bean tonight and wake up feeling refreshed tomorrow. That's evening.ver.so/outspoken and use the coupon code outspoken at checkout for 15% off. But now, back to the show. You've got no choice.
Baby mama, this shot song been pregnant for way too long. I tell the DJ turn it off.
If she your baby mama,
Go ahead.
she gon' do that baby mama.
Work.
She gon' put it on you. She gon' do that baby mama. Drop,
Drop
drop,
it down, drop
drop,
it down, down low.
drop,
Drop it down, drop it down, down low.
drop,
Drop it down, drop it down, down low. Do the baby mama when I step out on the floor. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, oh. Hit the baby mama when I'm stepping through the door. Yeah, I'm pregnant, but I got an ill flow. Tryna make some money, buy some huggies from the store. S to the T-A, double R-K, to the E-I-S-H-A. And I don't play, doing my way. Preggo, but I'm still doing moves like Beyonce. Yeah, I said I'm pregnant, give the child support and pay my rent. Pay my rent, your opinion is irrelevant, cause I'm a baby mama, I can do just what I want to turn up.
if she your baby
Okay, and then
mama,
prepare for the full slut drop.
Work.
She gon' put it on you. She gon' do that baby mama.
Oh no, first there's some sex simulation.
Down low.
And there we go, and the bump just sort of disappears. Norman Fenton. Okay, Norman Fenton, like from your professional perspective, is that something that someone who is 9 months pregnant and overdue can really do? There's a lot of doubt about this.
I normally say I don't speculate on medical matters, but this does really seem very unlikely now. But I mean, for a start, I mean, you should have warned me about this because you really put me off my dinner, which I was going to have shortly.
I'm sorry, I didn't want
But
you to
look,
refuse
the
to
thing
come
is,
on.
I've got a theory about this. My theory, and this is actually genuine. I think that the two of them have been so protected by the mainstream media
Yep.
because of their woke narrative fits in exactly what the mainstream media wants to portray. You know, they've never got the criticism they deserve from the mainstream media. The people who criticize them are, you know, in our kind of bubble, really. In fact, you'd be amazed, and this is what I'm going to come on to, that I actually checked up on this, Dogs. When you said that we were going to be discussing this, I checked up what it was all about. And actually, on the mainstream media, they're not talking about it. They're actually putting up stuff which is praising Meghan Markle for something else she's been doing. I'm not kidding you. But here's my theory. My theory is that because of that protection they've been afforded by the mainstream media, that they're so out of touch with what the regular people believe, that I think they saw this as being a genuinely brilliant thing to do. And now my belief is that if the reaction is as bad as some of those that you suggested there, if people really do actually see this, if this gets out, you know, to the masses and to the mainstream media can't avoid how ridiculous this is, I wouldn't be surprised if they start then putting out the hypothesis that some of this was AI generated.
Indeed. Because how can we know that it's not? Given that this clearly is not a bump that at all looks like a human pregnant bump. Alexandra Marshall, what do you make of this video?
Listen, Dan, my friend, when you invited me on this show, you didn't say you're going to traumatize me. I am an ambassador for the Australians for constitutional monarchy. So what you are doing is subjecting me to my worst nightmare, which is every argument possible for the Republicans. Thank goodness that our current Labor Party lost their last referendum so badly, they're too scared to ask any more questions. Otherwise, this video would be playing on repeat. But basically, with this whole Meghan Markle thing, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. They were so desperate to be the victims of the press. That's exactly what Harry's gone out and done. And they pretend to want privacy and to be left alone and respect. And then they go and drop something like this, which, I mean, I know she's not the brightest, most in-touch person in the world, but even she would know that this video is going to attract all the wrong kinds of attention. And you can't tell me it's got nothing to do with the timing of this release, which you would have thought would be around the time of the birth, not, years later. It's because they've had such a monumental failure with their products and their services online that their attention-seeking money revenue streams are drying up. And so this is like a last-ditch, bottom-of-the-barrel effort. You said, will it bring her down? She's got to get off the floor before you bring her back down again. I mean, there's nowhere for her to go, and she's not going to divorce him, by the way. She will cling on for as long as physically possible because all those contracts are pretty much ironclad with the crown. So she's going to keep it together, but it's painful, Dan. Why am I here?
Well, it is painful, and but let me just ask though, in your role as a supporter of the constitutional monarchy in Australia, which of course is one of the countries, I guess, that the British royal family fear most in terms of at some point pushing this Republican agenda. I mean, you had that referendum at the end of the 90s or early noughties, whenever it was. Surely the best thing that Charles and William could do now is actually say enough. We've got to strip you of the titles. That would actually, I think, be such a popular move around the world now, because it's not going to damage the monarchy, stripping them of their titles. I think it would only enhance the monarchy, Alexandra, because these two are now so deeply unpopular. But for me, there's something quite grim about the fact that they're carrying on like this while remaining sort of connected to the royal family in some way.
Well, there's a couple of things there. I don't feel particularly sorry for them, but it'd be nice if their children were allowed to reach adulthood before they lost their titles, because they might be perfectly normal, lovely people.
Yes.
Who are good for the royal family. And I do feel sorry for those kids because they have such a wonderful history and a wonderful inheritance. And you don't want to make monarchies smaller than they already are when there's so many obvious problems that can go wrong. But as far as Australia goes, it's a bit weird because we have such terrible politicians that nobody wants to give politicians more power. Right. So as weird as all this theatre is, the idea of giving Albanese absolute power is more scary than that video, which is saying something. But we also were a little bit removed. So when we think about the monarchy, Australians view Kate and William and all their lovely children. That's the monarchy. We kind of ignore King Charles. We just sort of endure him. But we view that as the monarchy. And this is a celebrity sideshow, which we've kind of put into a different box of entertainment. It's on the Daily Mail, and that's where it stays. So I don't know, it doesn't really concern us as anything other than clickbait. But they're certainly not setting a good example for the incredible institution and the important democratic institution that they represent.
No, they're really not. And I do agree with you about the need to keep the royal family as big as possible. Certainly not this idea of a massively stripped down monarchy. I just don't think these children necessarily should be part of it, because we do not have proof that Meghan Markle actually gave birth to them. And that is a legal requirement. Now, I think there are other ways that the royal family could be boosted in the United Kingdom, Norman Fenton. There are other parts of the family, actually, that are really beloved by the public. I mean, look at Zara Phillips and Mike Tyndall, for example, the daughter and son-in-law of Princess Anne. What about the Edinburghs? You know, Sophie, who has become, I mean, she was a favourite of the Queen. She's got 2 children that want to play a role. So too do Prince Andrew's daughters, Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice. So I would rather see those people be boosted by Charles and William rather than hanging on to this crass, undignified, actually just revolting behaviour by Meghan and Harry, who, by the way, remember, just this week, Norman, the Mail on Sunday report that Prince Harry is in discussions with Charles Spencer, Diana's sister, about potentially losing the royal last name and going back to being a Spencer. Well, okay then, goodbye. Goodbye, Harry. Like, you know, at some point you can't keep hanging on to this.
Look, I absolutely agree with what you're proposing there, but I actually think that we're all, I mean, I'll accuse you of misunderstanding the extent to which we are in a kind of a bubble outside the mainstream media here, because as we were watching this, I actually did a search, Google search for latest news on Meghan Markle.
Yes.
And what do you get? Top stories: Meghan Markle celebrates Elizabeth's 4th birthday on Instagram. Meghan shares video of her and Harry dancing before she gave birth to Elizabeth. I mean, there is nothing critical here. You have to dig deep before you see the critical stuff. And the point is about what you actually said there. Amongst the woke out there, who are of course the ones represented in the mainstream media, Meghan Markle is the most popular royal. I'm not kidding you. You get this whenever I speak to woke friends. She is the royal that they most admire. They still consider a royal.
That's saying something.
It's an unbelievable challenge we've got here.
We do, and I think again, it stresses the importance of the independent media, actually, because, you know, Camilla Tominey wrote a piece about this today for the Daily Telegraph, and I just replied to her saying, you haven't even mentioned the fact that no one believes that this is a real bump. Like, surely at least mention it. At least mention it. But look, you two, oh my goodness, what a shift you've put in for me today. Thank you so much for dealing with all of this breaking news. Alexandra Marshall, I don't even want to know. Don't even tell me what time it is there because I'll feel so guilty. But Alexandra Marshall is, of course, the online editor of The Spectator Australia. She has lots of exciting things planned, though, in the months to come. And I really look forward to talking to you about them very, very soon, Alexandra. And of course, Professor Norman Fenton making a return visit to Outspoken after being at court today with Tommy Robinson. But Norman, you know I love you, and please come back very, very soon. Thank you both so much. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.